Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those that don't know me, I am Henrietta, and as you can read by the title, I am doing a movie review on Malcolm and Marie. What a film we need to talk about. I need to get it off my chest. I first heard about this film when Zendaya had posted a picture, I believe in like July of last year, and me and my movie buddy Andile, shout out, we just have been waiting for this whole time. So now that it's dropped, I really have some thoughts and I need to get it off my chest. If you would like to watch the rest of this video, please do give it a thumbs up and keep watching brother. Now, I thought to myself, I could just sit here and give you the synopsis of the film in like 30 seconds. Or I could make a bowl of mac and cheese whilst I tell you about the story. So, Malcolm and Marie. This film follows Malcolm and Marie coming home after Malcolm's first film premiere. It seems that the night of celebrations is about to begin, but there's a definite elephant in the room coming from Marie's energy. The passive aggressiveness she portrays whilst making a bowl of mac and cheese, as you can see what I'm doing right here, leads to Malcolm pressing her to tell him what is wrong. This poking of the bear moment leads to a series of heated events / fights that tell a story of people who love each other, no matter how toxic and dysfunctional that love may be. From the kitchen to the bedroom to the bathroom and the living room, the story explores if love can overcome, but more so if love can be enough. Before we get into the actual plot, there is controversy outside the film pertaining to two big factors, and I'm quickly gonna address them because I think you deserve to know. First is the age gap. Now, Zendaya is 24 and John David Washington is 36, so that's a 12-year gap. People have a really big problem with this. They feel uncomfortable. They feel that it's kind of inappropriate from the interactions that they're having with each other, and my personal take on it is she's grown. Nobody was saying anything to Margot Robbie when she was in a scene with Leonardo DiCaprio and having multiple sex scenes with Leonardo DiCaprio in Wolf of Wall Street. It's quiet, ain't no back talk. I'm just confused as to how we have a problem with it now. I personally feel that the bigger problem here is that people aren't used to seeing Zendaya in a grown-ass kind of role. And I mean, all of us have that growing pain. I mean, when I saw Zendaya's booty getting ate, I had to pause. I had to be like, okay. I had to take it in. But that shouldn't hinder your opinion about the film. You get me? It shouldn't make you feel as if the film now all of a sudden is not as good because you're uncomfortable with the situation. That is your problem. It is not Zendaya's responsibility, nor any of the people that are on that film to make you feel comfortable. I understand there's a jump, but she's 24 in real life. So what, she's supposed to be paying 16 until she's 30? Until she's 30, guys? Come on, guys. Don't do this. This is why Disney kids have that reputation, because you guys keep them in that box. And then when they break out, they really break out because they really want to be something completely different from what you guys remember them as. That's just my personal take. The second one is Sam Levinson, who is the writer and director of this film. Now, what seems to be the issue with Sam Levinson as a writer and director, he's basically been accused of using a black man's voice to air out his frustrations to get away with some of the things that he said because he's black. The character, Malcolm. I can definitely understand that perspective. After watching it the second time, I can definitely see it. It definitely comes out. It definitely is a little bit of a side-eye situation. But with all of that said, it doesn't take away from the film in my opinion. I personally love the film. What did you think about that perspective that Sam Levinson kind of used Malcolm to air out his frustrations that would be quote-unquote controversial coming from a straight white man? Now, let's get into the film. First things first, Zendaya and John David Washington acted their butts off. They were in their bag, okay? When Sam Levinson said action, they left it all out on the field. Alright, they left it all out on the field. No crumbs were left. I really loved the music. The music I personally feel was like a third character in the film. Helped to really set the mood, make you feel the emotions. I love like when she was making the mac and cheese, you know, the jazz really just upped the ante, you know, made you really understand that there's tension in the space. And there is tension, child. There's tension. I also really love the black and white. It really made you understand that we're here just for the discussion. We're not here to look at the pretty, you know, set and everything like that. We're here to chat about what we need to chat about, what the elephant is in the room. We don't want you to be distracted by nothing else. Black and white, let's get down to it. Let's talk about Marie. For me, I relate to Marie in the sense that she would be who I was if I had the balls to say how I felt 100% of the time. She had reached her boiling point, and that is why this whole thing is actually happening. You know, she did try warn Malcolm. Malcolm doesn't listen, but we'll get into that. She said there's no point in talking about it because nothing good is gonna come out of it. But he kept on pressing, and so we're fully like just lodged into this fight that we're like forced to watch, you know, as if we're like a neighbor and we're busy eating popcorn like, do you see that? Busy ironing the grass, you know, trying to just get the tea and seeing what's happening. It was a night that was supposed to be remembered, you know, film directorial debut. She's there, she's cheering her man on. We don't obviously see this part in the film, but she's probably there. She's so hella thankful, you know, hella proud of her man. He goes up and he says like an acceptance speech or a thank you speech, and her name is not mentioned. For any other girlfriend, maybe this wouldn't be a problem because maybe they didn't have that much of an impact, but this film that came out that he directed and wrote and, you know, put out for everybody to see was loosely based on Marie's life. So why would you forget Malcolm to say thank you when that moment happened? Just brought up all the crap and all the time she felt unappreciated and all the things that he does that she has a problem with. And I feel like a lot of the times when we are all in relationships, you kind of like, you can compress a few things here and there, but then after some time, especially if things go left, all those things come up if you don't discuss it, if you don't talk about it. And you can definitely like see that over time, you know, she started to become outspoken, but probably started off very passive aggressive or very like just kept to herself about the problems that she has because she came in so vulnerable, you know, 20 years old, a drug addict or trying to recover from, you know, her addiction. And so she probably just didn't feel worthy of a confrontation when somebody's taking care of you in your most vulnerable state. Marie kind of baits Malcolm. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is I watched the film yesterday again for a second time. Obviously, I don't blame her for it, but it was kind of like a bait situation because she's making the mac and cheese aggressively and you can see that obviously there's a problem there. Malcolm keeps on asking what's the problem. She keeps on saying there's nothing wrong. Sometimes, you know, you want there to be a chase. You want them to like show concern for what is wrong and then like you can unleash because then they give you permission to approach the floor. It makes your comments and your feelings more valid because they allowed for those feelings to be said, if that makes any sense. I know it's kind of confusing, but that's why I'm saying she baits Malcolm every time to kind of justify what she's saying. It's something I picked up on. It's kind of hard for me to explain, but I thought I should bring it to the floor. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Let me know in the comments. Now let's get into Malcolm. That man doesn't listen. Not one bit. Marie will ask for apples. Malcolm will give her oranges. It's just the lack of respect, honestly. It's the lack of understanding. He's like, you know what? You don't know that you need oranges. Basically what I'm saying is all Marie wanted to be on that evening, at the beginning of the fight at least, was to say, okay, I'm sorry, but thank you. The most frustrating part in the film for me personally, right, is when Marie gives this long speech of how he should have said thank you at the premiere. Yo, every time I think about it, I actually get pissed. And his response after hearing thank you maybe 54 times is, I'm sorry? Like, aren't you gonna get it in your head that all she wanted was a thank you? That's all she wanted. She wanted a thank you and she wanted to be appreciated. That's all she wanted. She didn't want bells and whistles and I love yous and I'm sorries and all those type of things. She just wanted a thank you. A genuine, appreciative thank you. Why you are thankful for her being in your life. That's it. But you couldn't do that on stage and you couldn't even do it for the span of the movie until the very end. That man is the insufferable one, not Marie. The man is textbook narcissism, egotistical, just doesn't care about anybody but himself, doesn't care about Marie's emotions, none of that, will literally hit below the belt when it's not needed. Like, I remember there was a part where Marie calls Malcolm mediocre. She like walks off and he starts like getting it in his head, he starts getting very heated, and then when she is in the bath, he comes and he like just talks about all the women that he slept with and that he can snap her like a twig. I mean, all she did was call you mediocre. Now you talk about you're gonna snap her like a twig, all the women that you've been with previously. It was so irrational to like respond that way, and it's because he just wants to be the winner of every argument, and you can see it through every kind of like scene where they're going back and forth. He just wants to top whatever she said. It doesn't matter if it's gonna hurt her emotions. After Malcolm would basically annihilate her character, he would want to come back and maybe, you know, kiss on her or like come and talk about like, I love you and all. It's like, this is such a toxic man. Such a toxic man. That is why she's frustrated, but it's also the reason why she stayed. Deep down inside, I personally feel like Marie thinks that he is going to change. But I think after the thank you speech, she realized this man is never gonna see me how I want to be seen. Another thing about Malcolm is that he's hella needy, okay? Marie. Like, you're hella needy. You're like the neediest person I've ever dated, but the least jealous. And it's because you know I'll never leave. And it's true. And it's triggering, honestly. I feel like most of us have been in a situation, whether it's romantic or not, where you have this person in your life and you know, or there's kind of like a complacency both ways and a kind of awkward comfort in the fact that no one's gonna leave no one because we're comfortable in it, as toxic as it may be, as dysfunctional as it may be. But I mean, we have all this history together, so why not? Who else is really gonna know me like you know me? Who else is really going to understand you like you understand me? Honestly, it kind of honestly made me so sad when at the end, when the sun rises, he gets up, Marie's not in bed. Personally for me, I was like, finally. There was like a deep breath that I took and I was like, and I exhaled. I was like, whew. She left. Only to find her that she only went outside again. It kind of broke my heart that she stayed. It kind of still breaks my heart that she stayed. Obviously this is just a movie, but that her needs to leave. There's definitely a toxic codependency between the two of them. There's no denying that. I just feel, honestly, that Marie loves Malcolm more than Malcolm loves Marie. The prime example would be when the review came out. They're having their whole fight, things were said, things were, you know, relayed or whatever. After that whole bathtub scene, the review comes out, she's like, okay, pause the fight. It's still a night that he really cares about. Let's hear what the review says. I personally feel like Malcolm, if the roles were reversed, if she had continued acting and, you know, a review comes out for her movie and this same kind of fight was being had, personally he wouldn't have that because of the type of person he is. He's selfish, he's a narcissist, he doesn't care about anybody else but himself. That's why I know that Malcolm is loved by Marie more than Marie is loved by Malcolm, if that makes any sense. And what did I take away from this film and what you should take away from this film? Say thank you. Listen to what the person is telling you, because the fight or like the bad state that you are in as a couple can end in 2 seconds if you just what? Listen. Second of all, don't ask questions you don't want the answer to. The reason why the fight lasted as long as it did and it continued as long as it did was because questions were being asked, and it started with Malcolm's non-listening ass. He asked what's wrong. If you don't care what's wrong, do not ask what is wrong. Don't be asking questions and then be shocked when they like pop off and they actually tell you how they feel. Now all of a sudden you confused and you're like, oh my gosh, me? Why me? And I just don't understand it. You asked for this life. It's your fault. Let me know what you think about the film down below. Let me know about who you relate more to. Is it Malcolm? Is it Marie? If it's Malcolm, personally, I'm looking at you with the side eye. I have to say it. Thanks for watching this movie review. Once again, let me know about your thoughts and I will see you in my next one.